Let's go around the NFL on today's episode of 4 Verts. My name is Harrison Graham. A lot of interesting storylines out there. A lot of buzz around Brandon Aiyuk. Could there be a contract resolution there? Maybe a trade. Lots of rumors circulating on that front. The Hall of Fame game is tonight. Also, Tristan Wirfs signing a big deal, and a couple of interesting injury notes that I want to get into as well. But lots to dive into here. But speaking of the Hall of Fame game, preseason opener, it's always fun to see the new Hall of Fame inductees each year. I want to know who's actually watching the game tonight. Because obviously, Bears aren't playing their starters, even their rookies, Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze aren't going to play. Texans aren't playing anybody of note. Yes or no in the comments. Let me know if you'll be watching. I will be. I host a Bears YouTube channel here at Chat Sports. So if you want to come join our live watch party, we'll be live on Bears Now. But I do think year over year, every single year, there's less and less interest in the preseason because guys just don't play that much. So curious to gauge the audience and hear from you guys down below. Okay, let's talk about Brandon Aiyuk. Is a resolution coming soon? There's some increasing chatter online that he could receive a contract extension or maybe, just maybe, get traded and get extended somewhere else other than San Francisco. Now, Colin Cowherd, who's got some West Coast connections, tweeted this out. Keep your eyes out for Brandon Aiyuk news, hashtag New Deal SF, San Francisco. Now, I think most people took that, and there's been a couple of other smaller reporters, San Francisco area people saying, yeah, closing in on an extension for Aiyuk. I think most people have said, yeah, that's where this is going. The 49ers are going to lock him up. However, our good friend Pretty Ricky, the People's Insider, as he calls himself, has kind of inferenced. Well, first of all, he tweeted a couple days ago, and if you don't know this guy, follow him on Twitter. He's broken some big stories this offseason, that a big trade is coming. And he's kind of had some subliminal messages around Aiyuk today that suggest maybe a trade is where this is going. And I've always said this for a while now regarding Brandon Aiyuk. This is not a simple just write him a blank check. They are a run-first football team. Aiyuk's a good player. He's their best route runner. He would be more impactful on other teams that are more pass-happy, but they definitely need him, and they're in a Super Bowl now window. But if there's a trade out there that can help win now as well, if they don't want to pay him what he wants, which is over $30 million per year, I think that is at least a possibility. Now, after the DJ Moore contract came in of $27.5 per year with Chicago, I said, okay, maybe the Niners can keep him around that $28 million per year range because I think they're in the same tier. So we'll see if that deal gets done. We'll see if he's on the move. Sounds like there could be some kind of solution here one way or the other. But certainly things seem to be heating up in the Bay regarding their top wide receiver. Speaking of big extensions, Tristan Wirfs signs a record-setting deal for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He gets 5 years, $140.6 million, which makes him the highest-paid offensive lineman ever, which is something we told you here on 4 Verts the other day, that he wants to reset the offensive tackle market. He wants to sign the biggest deal in offensive lineman history, and I don't blame him. He's an all-pro. He's played both tackle spots at a very high level. He's versatile. He's 25. This is a no-brainer for Tampa. You don't mess around with 25-year-old all-pro offensive tackles because those guys don't grow on trees. You lock those guys down. If he wants to reset the market, you do it. It's different with Brandon Aiyuk. Number one, receivers, you can find quality receivers, maybe not to Aiyuk's level on trees, but every year in the draft, guys come out, you can find productive players. The Niners drafted Ricky Pearsall. Maybe he becomes a big-time player. Elite high-end offensive tackles, especially that are young, you might find one or two in a draft. It's not easy. So when you get one, you keep them and you pay them. I mean, it's pretty simple. So Tristan Wirfs gets a well-earned deal with Tampa Bay. He wanted to top Penei Sewell, and I don't blame him. He plays left tackle now. Sewell plays on the right side for Detroit. So pretty no-brainer for Tampa, and good for Wirfs getting his money because they got to keep Baker Mayfield upright. All right, before we get to some interesting injury news and a couple of big-time players in the NFL, hit that subscribe button. We're about 80 subs away from 1,000. I told you once we cross 1,000 subscribers, I will drop my top 10 NFL quarterbacks entering 2024. as we're just about a month out from the regular season, call it 5 weeks. But we're also publishing just daily content in general, NFL news, opinion pieces, analysis, reaction from me to big news and games once the season gets here. We'll ramp up some college football content as well once we get closer to the college football season. Lots to come here on 4 Verts. Big things planned. Appreciate the support already. Let's cross 1,000 subs and get to that top 10 QBs list video for you guys. All right, first injury I want to discuss. Put a short up on the channel if you didn't check that out. Reacted as it happened a couple of hours ago. Justin Herbert, he's got a plantar fascia issue in his right foot. So he's going to be in a boot for 2 weeks, according to the Chargers, and then they'll slowly ramp him back up, kind of get him back into practice after that. The expectation is that he'll be back week 1, but foot issues, plantar fasciitis stuff, that's always tricky. So I would expect them to slow play this. Now, I'll take their word for it for now that they're not worried about his status for week 1, but you don't want to push this thing too soon. I mean, they've invested over $50 million per year in this guy. It's Jim Harbaugh's first year in LA. That pairing should, in theory, be together for a very, very long time. So we'll see how this plays out. We'll check back in a couple of weeks and see how Justin Herbert is doing. But obviously, they're a major investment in LA. I wouldn't have expected him to play in the preseason anyway. This now will essentially confirms that. But they need him for the long haul, not only early on this year. But I think the Chargers could be a sneaky playoff team if Herbert's healthy, because I think Harbaugh is a huge upgrade over Brandon Staley, obviously, at head coach. How about DeAndre Hopkins, who quietly had a really good year for Tennessee last year? He's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks here with a knee strain. Got banged up in Titans camp. Now, 4 to 6 weeks puts him right on the bubble for week 1. If it's closer to 4 weeks, he should be ready to go against the Chicago Bears. If it's 6, his week 1 status could be in doubt. So definitely a one to monitor for any week 1 bettors out there, Titans or Bears fans, fantasy football players, because if he's out and doesn't play in that game, I think that's a pretty significant development for that matchup. Caleb Williams' first start for the Bears. Will Levis taking over as the full-time starter in Tennessee, potentially without his top weapon. Now, they do have Calvin Ridley now, but Hopkins, who's still very, very good, going to miss some time here. So 2 star players in the NFL, and Justin Herbert and DeAndre Hopkins getting banged up in camp. We'll see how they progress and return from injury. All right, that's going to do it for us here at 4 Verts. Again, hit that subscribe button, as once we cross 1,000, we will break down my top 10 quarterbacks for 2024. We'll continue to plug away with daily content here. And again, let me know if you're watching the Hall of Fame game, yes or no. I'll also put a link in the comments and description of this video if you want to come join our Bears Now watch party and watch the game with all of us tonight. We'll be live on that channel. I'm Harrison Graham. We'll see you guys soon.